Hey guys, this is Ryan Blair here at Kai's Inc. And today we are giving you another intro to design tutorial, and that is adding type to a document in Illustrator. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is to grab the type tool, which is located right here, or you could simply press T on your keyboard. And that's going to bring up this cursor. And now if you click anywhere, you're going to see that you get this lorem ipsum. So at this point, you can make it bigger because that's obviously going to be a little difficult to type when it's that small. So what you can do is just hold down Shift and click and drag on any of these anchor points, and that will make it larger. You could use the type tool to get back into it to edit it by pressing T, or you could just simply double click into it and you're good to start typing here as well. So we'll go over a couple of different things here, and the first is going to be changing the actual font size, which is going to be right here. So you can manually enter something in, like if you wanted 12 point, you can go ahead and type in 12 and hit tab. We'll go back up to a large size. Additionally, again, you could scale it utilizing the handles, and you can see that it does translate over here. So now to change your font, that is going to be under this character menu here. And there's a lot of fonts. So if you know what you're looking for, you can just go ahead and start typing it in and it'll pop up. And so if we were to go to Futura PT, you can see that you have all of the different variants of that font family down here below. So next we can go over the leading. So let's say you have 2 lines of text. What is that looking like that? So obviously that looks ridiculous, but it's stacked on top of itself. That's because the leading's off. So if we set it to auto, it's going to put it where it thinks it should be, or what's associated with that font. You could also go up and down. I don't know why it's defaulting to the top. You could use your mouse scroll wheel and just scroll up or down to move the additional lines of text. So next we will go into the kerning. So that's going to be the distance between 2 letters. So let's say that in between the E and the S looks a little ridiculous. So it's not giving us any options there. So what we can do is hold down Alt and then use the left and right arrow, and that will manually adjust the letters. And you could use the arrow keys to move over while not holding Alt, and then you could hold down Alt again and manually move the letters around. Next we will go over the tracking, and that is going to be the spread between all of the letters. So again, you could use the up and down arrows here, or you could use your mouse wheel, scroll it in and out, and you can see that they all shift. If you wanted to skew your letters, you could use the vertical and horizontal scale. So obviously that makes the font not look good, but if you wanted to stretch them out, you could. And then baseline shift right here, this is a good one too. So let's say that you had a couple of lines of text in here, and we wanted this line of text to be, a different font weight, so we'll make it lighter. We could also make it smaller, but now the distance between them isn't matching up, or it's not a desirable look. So what we could do is we could select the line that we want to move and use the baseline shift. And again, you could use your scroll wheel or the arrows, and you can manually move it up and down like so. You also have some additional controls down here for all caps, small caps, and then superscript. So if we selected just that too, we could do a superscript on it, as well as underline and strike through. So one of the things that we'll commonly do, especially if we're sending files to somebody else, is we will outline the text. So I'm just going to copy this by holding Alt and clicking out, just so we have another live text. And to outline the fonts, which will make it so it is no longer live type, so you can't type with it anymore, you just select it and do a Control Shift O. And now you can see that you can no longer click into it to type, and that you can see that it created paths around everything. And this comes in handy for alignment purposes. So if we were to take our live type here and then use our alignment tools to center it, that's not actually centered. So if we were to draw a rectangle around just the text here, we'll change the color so it's easier to see. And we align that, you can see that it's off because it's compensating for the rest of the container. If we grab the outline version, if we did that, you can see it's a lot closer. It's throwing it off because of the P, but if we were to drop it down just a tiny bit. So another thing that we'll go over is adding a stroke to live text. It's easy to add a stroke to outline text, but to have a stroke on the outside of live text, you would go to Appearance with the text selected, and then click on this Add New Stroke. And what we're going to do is we're going to click and drag down below the fill, the stroke. Now from here you can change the color, so let's give it magenta. And dragging it down below the fill puts it on the outside. If it was above the fill, it's going to add a stroke to the inside. And so if we drop it back down, alright, so there's a couple other things that we'll go over real quick, and that is going to be typing within a container. So we're just going to use the type tool, and if you click and drag, you can draw a text box. And now everything that you type will stay within that container. You can size your text up and down. So if we were to copy and paste this is really good if you were, writing like a paragraph or something like that on a flyer, or just any type of text block. You can continue to type, and again, it stays within that container. Okay, so now we're going to go over type on a path. So as long as you have a shape that is a closed path, you can type along it. And you hold down the type tool menu over here on this toolbar on the left, and you're going to select type on a path. At this point, you can go ahead and just click anywhere on that path, and you're good to start typing. So now if we wanted to get it centered, we're going to have these little blue lines here, and what we're going to do is get them snapped to the left and right centered anchor points, and this is going to allow us to easily center the text. So here's the left one, and we'll snap that there. Come on. And now if we put some type in there, we should be able to center it. And actually that's something that I missed, so we'll go over that in just a second. So your justification is going to be up here under paragraph. It's also over here under paragraph. And I'll show you those outside of the circle in just a second. But this is how you would get the text centered on the shape that you're trying to work with. And so if you wanted this to wrap all the way around, then you could grab those handles that are out there that are really hard to get a hold of and drag them down further. So you would essentially close off the circle. You can see that the text goes all the way around. If you grab your regular mouse again, and then you grab this center blue line, I know it's real hard to see, you can drag it down on the inside, and now your text is on the inside of the circle. And again, you could grab those handles and recenter them if you wanted the text on the inside of the circle down here. So now what I had actually missed was, let's draw out some text, and we'll go over justification real quick. So again, paragraph, left justified, right justified, center text. And those are the basics for adding type to a document in Illustrator. Thanks for watching.